Welcome and thank you so much for joining me today. So we are going to be looking at an application-based problem which involves paraboles. So the path of a river is given by the rule y equals 1 over 10x in brackets x take 100, and all units are given in meters. A highway is to be built near or over the river on the line y equals c. You can sketch the graph of the river. So the first thing you can probably see is I've already underlined the important information. Now, because I'm sketching the river, I just need to draw a plain, simple graph. Now, I like to write my equation outside of the problem. So I'm only looking at the equation. When I look at this, I look at that this is in factorized form, and when we're talking about quadratics and paraboles, we use the factorized form to find the x-intercepts, because when y equals 0, we know it's going to be crossing the x-axis. So let's have a look. How do I get this to equal 0? Well, because it's timesing, if one side equals 0, the whole thing will equal 0. So I need to think about, how do I get 1 over 10 times x to equal 0? Well, simple, x must be 0 on this side. How do I get x take 100 to equal 0? Simple, if x is 100, 100 take 100 equals 0. So x must equal 100. So that tells me that we are going to be crossing at 0 and 100. The last point that we need is to find the turning point. Now there's two ways we can do this. One, we can use turning point form, or the other way is I know the turning point is always halfway between the two x-intercept values. So I can just go, well, 0 plus 100 divided by 2 equals 50. And now I can substitute that 50 into this equation. So I've got y equals 1 over 10 times 50, 50 take 100. Well, 110 times 50 is just 5. And 50 take 100 is negative 50. So then I'm just going 5 times negative 50 is negative 250. So 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. So when x is 50, y is negative 250. Now I have my 3 points. So now that I have my 3 points, I can join them together to form my river. And that is my river. The next thing I can look at is go to the next part. For the highway with equation y equals c, decide how many bridges need to be built. So when we're thinking about the highway, it's a straight line highway, and we are thinking that, okay, how many times is it crossing the river? Well, when c equals 0, when y is 0, it's crossing the river 2 times. When c is negative 300 is down here. So it does it even as close to the river, but it's 50 meters away. So it's not going to be going over the river, which means we need no bridges. The last question we're looking at is locate the coordinates of the bridge. Well, the first thing I need to think about is, we know c is y, so we find the x values for these. Now, when we're trying to find the x values, we need to be thinking about the quadratic equation. So if you don't remember the quadratic equation, or you don't understand it, please look at the proof. But it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Now, for these, we are going to substitute these values as y, and we will be also expanding the brackets out. So I'm going to expand the brackets out because I'll be doing that for both of them. So 1/10 x times x is 1/10 x squared minus 100 times 1/10 x. Well, what's 1/10 of 10? So what's 1/10 of 100 is 10. So it will be minus 10x equals y. Now, y in both of these cases, one of the times will be negative 200 and the other time will be negative 10. And when we take it to the other side, it becomes a positive. So I can write these equations as, and c equals negative 200 will be 1/10 x squared minus 10x plus 200. And on this case here, I've got 1/10 x squared minus 10x minus 10. So those are our equations. I'm just grabbing my calculator because for this now, we are going to be putting our values into this formula. Just remember, 1/10 is A, negative 10 is B, and a negative 10 is C. And same for this side, except C will be 200. Oh, this should be a positive because I moved it over. So let's have a look at filling our equation in. So I've got negative, B is negative 10, plus or minus the square root, B squared is negative 10 squared minus 4 times A. If you remember what A is 1/10 times C, which is 200, divided by 2 times A, which is 1/10. I can also look over here and I'm just going to substitute everything in. So I know I've got negative, then B is negative 10 plus or minus square root B squared, so negative 10 squared, minus 4 times A, which is 1/10, times C, which is 10, divided by 2 times 1/10. So now we've got all of our information substituted, we just need to be plugging it in and solving it. So straight away, we can simplify this. Now, I'm just going to change colour. I know a negative and negative equals a positive. So that just means that this a 10 is going to change to a positive there. So I can rub that out. There we go. Next thing I'm going to be thinking about is this here. I know that if I have negative 10 squared, negative will be a positive, so 10 times 10 is 100. So I'm going to cross this out. Take this out, and it's going to turn into 100. Then I've got 4 times 1/10 times 200. Well, make it easy for us. I can go, well, what is 1/10 of 200? Practically, I'm just dividing it by 10. So 200 divided by 10 is 20. Then 20 times negative 4 is negative 80. So I can rub this out and go, take away 80. What's 100 take 80? 100 take 80 is 20. Awesome. So I've simplified it slightly. I can go, well, 2 times 1/10 is just 2/10. If I really want it to make it easy, I'm just going to go 2/10 is the same as me saying 0.2. The square root of 20. Now, I'm going to be using decimals here. You don't have to, but I know it's 4.47. 4.47. So we can have two values here. One, we are going to have a value of 10 plus 4.47, and we are also going to be having a value when it's minus. So 10 plus 4.47 divided by 0.2 equals, one is when it's x will be 72.35, and we can also minus 10 minus 4.47 divided by 0.2, and it gives us 27.65. Now the reason why we have 2 points is because if we look at our graph, when we have our x being negative 200, I can go, sorry, y being negative 200, I can go across, and we are going across 2 points in our parabola. So our first point will be is 27.65, and our second point will be 72.35. I'll put these dots there. So the second question. Again, we are going to be simplifying it. Negative and a negative equals a positive. So it just equals 10. Negative 10 squared, well, we know that it's going to be 100. Now, 110 times 10 is 1. 4 times 1 is 4. That makes it easy, doesn't it? I'm going to make it a bit easier. 100 minus 4 is 96. And I'm going to make this part down here a bit simpler. 2 times 1 over 10, that's 2 over 10, which is 0.2. Now we are going to simplify. So the square root of 96 is 9.79. 9.79. So we're going to have two values again, because at the moment we are looking at when our y is negative 10. Just remember, when our y is negative 10, that's down here. So our two values should be closer to 0 and closer to 100, where our bridges are. So let's have a go double checking. I'm going to go 10 plus 9.79 divided by 0.2, and it gives me 98.95. So x will be 98.95. And then if I go the other way, 10 minus 9.79 divided by 0.2, I get 105. 105. So it's at the very beginning and very end of our parabola, and that's how we get our points. Really hope that helps you understand parabolas a bit more and how we're applying it in terms of highways, substituting, going back and using our quadratic equation. If you need any extra help, feel free to message me and I'll make a video just for you.